Hello coin collectors and maybe some stamp collectors as well this week as we take a step into the world of the PNC and particularly for the 1995 £2 and stamp set to mark the 50th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. Now you may ask what PNC stands for, and the P either stands for postal or, and forgive my Latin as usual, philatelic numismatic cover. So a sort of fancy way of saying stamp and coin collection cover. And just to note, there are also PMCs for medallic covers, and these relate to medallions which are sort of released for commemorative events, but unlike the coins, don't have an actual face value to them. Now, the PNC in itself is an interesting item as it crosses over two types of collections. And if you've spent any time in the coin collecting or stamp collecting world, you'll sort of know they're very close bedfellows and they sometimes meet, which is why we have this here. Now, looking at this, we've got a lot going on the outside, and if you have a different one for the 1995 £2 coin, it's because there were two released. The first one was on the 8th of May, and that was to celebrate VE Day. The second one, which was released on the 15th of August, and you can tell your dates from the postmark here, and that was to celebrate VJ Day. And as you can see on the front, this one has a big red V and some ladies celebrating in front of a statue of Queen Victoria. The VE Day one has Winston Churchill and a Union flag showing, and then the other information is pretty much the same. We've got our two stamps here, 19 and 25p, and for those of you who might remember and look closely at the 25p one, it will remind you of another £2 coin which was released 10 years after this to also mark the end of the Second World War. But I'll put a link to the video of that one below. Then underneath the stamps we've got the logos, the Royal British Legion, Royal Mail and the Royal Mint. Royal Mail and Royal Mint are always released together in partnership for these. And then you've got the serial number and of course the title of what you're showing at the bottom. Now, I actually do like this design of this coin, the dove holding the olive branch of peace in its beak. And I actually like the PNC and PNCs in general, because if I open it up I can show you the inlay. And so the inlay shows you all about the event that we're celebrating. Now I'm not going to go into the full details and read all this out because it's quite self-explanatory, but I do want to just point out down here we've got some details on the actual stamps, which says the Royal Mail celebrates with 19 and 25p commemorative stamps featuring scenes of 1945 symbolising the return of peace and freedom, and the designer was John Gorham. And then you've got the specifications of the stamps at the bottom here. And then turning it over to the back, which also in turn shows you the front of the coin, we've got John Mills, the coin designer here. And we've got some details about him at the back, and also details on himself and his inspirations behind the coin. And in his own words on this design, he's said, "A symbol of aspiring peace, the calm, bountiful and optimistic image of a dove." And then just down here it lists the edge inscription, which also says at the top, 1945, in peace, goodwill, 1995. And that's actually taken from words by Churchill as well, which is listed down here. Then down at the bottom here, we've got the coin specifications as well. Now, putting it back in and coming onto the front, we can talk about values, and it's quite an interesting one. I've taken out all the brilliant uncirculated ones out of the equation, and looking at the last 5 sold online, they've gone for around £5.39, which was a little more than I was expecting. But then the mintage figures for this coin aren't readily available, as they actually got counted with the other 1995 £2 coin which was released for the 50th anniversary of the United Nations. But then looking at the PNC for this one, for this VJ Day one, the last 5 sold for around £5.88, and the VE Day on average sold for around £6. So it seems if you're after this coin, it wouldn't be too much more to get it in this format. But then, could you just stop at having one PNC? I have a couple now. Well, I say a couple. But as we come to the end of today's All Change review, we asked, do you have this coin in your collection? And what do you think of the design and the PNC? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you found today's video informative, why not give us a like? But until next time, coin collectors and stamp collectors, thanks for watching and keep collecting. Bye!